Hi, this is Sharon. Here's a little sampler for my Burning Academy. Enjoy!
What I've done is I've begun layering some colors in here, and these are the colors I'm using. I'm using Prismacolor pencils, okay? And I'm not going to give you the exact colors because I want you to play with the colors. So I've just got a dark blue, I think it's a violet blue, a magenta, a pale yellow, and white. And that's what I've got here in the water, and I'm alternating with, I keep my basic palette, but then I'll add a color or two here and there to the different areas. But the one thing I want you to notice is that there are numerous colors, and in here the sun is shining from outside, so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. You can see all the different colors in here. It is subtle, and I want it to be subtle. Also notice that in here, in the foam, I don't have it solid. I haven't gone through and put it solid. I've left some other areas. This will give it a much richer look because it gives it a texture. What I notice is a lot of times, and remember when I was burning over that with a very low heat, which meant that I was engraving that wood. So the wood is engraved, and when I go over it with a pencil, it will reflect that. You can really see it down here. I'm going to move down here. Really see it right there. See that? You can really see the engraving in there. So it's really important to make sure that you have that. You can also see how I have a bunch of colors in here. All right. It's just a matter of layering those colors in, layering them lightly and building them up. Let's take a look at the sky here. Okay. One of the things I like doing in the sky when I have nice grain like this is emphasizing the grain. Now it's going to be emphasized because I'm going to add watercolor here, and then I'm also going to add some stain to bring out these beautiful grain patterns. But I want to emphasize them even more, so what I've done is I go through with a few different colors in the sky area, emphasizing the existing grain. Now these pencils are wax-based, which means they're going to resist the moisture in the water. So they're going to enhance the look. You do have to be careful how you put these in. My grain is running this way. So when I go in with the pencils, I'm running the pencils in that same way. Okay? And it's a little bit stronger at the top, and I tend to fade toward the bottom. Toward the bottom here, I don't have any pencil marks down here. You can see that the pencil mark ends here. All right, I'm going to prep the sky a bit here. I'm just adding some water. I got these little things here. Okay, hopefully that won't make a mess. I'm applying a bit of water, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to work wet on wet. All right, when I apply the watercolor is going to go wherever the wetness is, and I want to blend this out, but I have to be careful because I don't want it to go on top of my burning here. I often use Windsor Newton colors if you're wondering which ones, and again, this is a French ultramarine blue. My palette is available in workbook 1, so if you want my full palette, the colors that I use, you can get them there. And they are similar to the same colors I use in my pencils. Alright, I've gone through and edged this with water. Now, not too much because I don't want that water to get into my image. Alright, so I'm just taking this and dabbing it in there and making this wet. All of the edges that I'm going to paint are wet. I'm going in and getting my blue. Okay, the key to watercolor is viscosity. Okay, you have to know how much paint to put on there. Be very careful anytime you're working with watercolor not to put globby paint. It's not acrylic. The problem with watercolor is that it is very easily charged the minute it gets wet. So if you treat it like acrylic and you just put a big glob of paint on there, you're never going to be able to control it. It's going to be everywhere on you. So you put just a little bit. You don't want to put too much on there, because the viscosity or the thickness of that liquid is what's going to control how far it goes. And now I'm going to add a little bit of my crimson, my alizarin crimson in here, which is the pink. Add that right over the top. I want that to blend in. Now I don't smush it everywhere. I don't want to smush it everywhere because then I don't get those beautiful colors. All I get is a big glob of purple. I don't want that. I want there to be, just like there's grain marks, I want there to be marks that are a little bit purple, marks that are more blue. I want the colors to really come alive and to blend on the surface by themselves. I don't want to be mushing. That's the biggest problem I see with people, is that they add all these colors, and it's like, well, if you were going to blend them that much, why'd you bother adding a bunch of colors? Don't add them if you're going to blend them all the way. Add them if you're going to allow the eye to blend them. It's a much stronger composition, much more beautiful. I wanted to bring your attention to this area because at this point I've got this whole area is pretty saturated. But what I'm doing is I'm balancing out these colors. I want to make sure that they're a little bit lighter toward the bottom. I'm going through with a wet brush. If I need to lift off some color because it's getting too dark, I simply lift it off. Remember, this is going to dry a lot lighter than this. So to make it a little bit darker at this point is probably a really good idea. Remember, I'm working only with watercolors. This does not work with acrylics and